Hi, I'm Joe Chili. Listen to me morning, 7 to 9 on Buffalo's oldie station, the Big Wack. Welcoming our guest today to Buffalo on the Rise, Denise Ligammare, who's the Business Development Manager for Western Division Federal Credit Union.
Hi there.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
How you doing?
I'm doing great today.
You always have such a bright smile. So I just always assume that you're doing very well. Tell us a little bit, again, kind of restating what Western Division is.
Okay, well, Western Division, we're a federal credit union, and we service the Western New York community. So there used to be a thing where credit unions, you had to belong to a certain employer group or church or area or community. Western Division, we are a community credit union, so anybody who lives, works, worships in the Western New York area is able to use our financial services.
When I was growing up, I had a buddy of mine that worked for General Motors, and he used to say, you know, I had to go to the credit union for such and such. First time I ever heard of a credit union at that point. Now, everybody that I know.
Now, everybody has access to a credit union. It's not that little hidden secret in a group or whatever anymore. A lot of us are community, so it gives everybody a lot of different financial choices.
So we're into spring. Now, the weather may not say that, okay? But the calendar says we're into spring. So if we start thinking about spring, I don't know, home improvement ideas, to-do lists, projects, how can you help us out?
Okay, well, a couple weeks ago, we did have that 70-degree day, which sent everybody into a frenzy of what do I need to do, whether it be a lot of things inside the house that maybe you're finishing up from the winter time or outside the house. I think a lot of us are thinking outside now, you know, the pool, the backyard, the patio, maybe a new driveway, maybe your roof didn't make it through the winter. So a lot of people, this is the time of year where home equities are a huge product that people start shopping. So when taking a look at the projects that you need to do, there's usually 2 or 3 different types of home equities that are out there. So I just wanted to give a little bit of explanation on what's out there and what you need to do to prepare before you go to a financial institution and start doing your shopping.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the first thing I always tell everybody, whether you're looking to consolidate debt, whether you have a project in mind and a dollar amount in mind, say you're putting in a pool or a roof and you're kind of getting all that type of dollars together, know what you need to spend. So kind of first step, know how much money you're going to need. Second step I always tell everybody is to see what the value of your house is. So you can go to Zillow.com, which is Zillow.com, and you can get a guesstimate of what your house is valued at. And a lot of financial institutions, that'll be the first place that we look. So you want to see if there's equity available in your house, which basically the equity that you're looking for, you take your estimate, you take your mortgage if you owe anything, you figure out the difference, and that's the dollar amount that usually financial institutions will look at. So if you know the dollar amount that you need, and then you look at your house of what your value of the equity is in there, you try and match those two, and those are usually the first 1 and 2 steps to jumping off to start the process.
Is there an advantage from a tax standpoint to home equity loans any longer?
Not any longer. No, not really. It's very few and far between. So you used to be able to write off, you know, some of the interest of a home equity on your taxes and things like that according to projects, if they were home improvement, you could, but if it was consolidation, you couldn't. So a lot of tax laws have changed for that. So I always tell everybody, contact your tax advisor for that. All
right, now you mentioned improvements on the outside, things that you want to do there. But I wonder about how many people have been stuck inside, especially during the last month and a half of winter, and decided, you know what, I don't like the way my kitchen looks anymore, you know, or it's outdated, or they visited somebody over the holidays and their kitchen was so nice.
Or they went to the home show.
Exactly.
Or they're watching a lot of DIY on TV of how people's houses look.
Yeah, because when I think, and I'm a novice on any of this, but when I think of, you know, your home's value, I don't necessarily think of things outside. Of course, curb appeal, I guess, is a big thing, right? But also, is it like, you know, your bathrooms and your kitchens and things like that, don't they add to the value of your home?
Absolutely. It always adds to the value of your home. Anytime you do any type of home improvements, think about when you're out house shopping and you walk into a house that's still orange, green, and yellow from 30 years ago, color palette.
Lime green.
Or if you walk into a different model home now and it's all spacious and open and light and airy colors and new windows and things like that. So any improvements that you make to your home will always usually add value to the house.
Yeah, at my grandmother's house, you used to have to wear sunglasses to go into the bathroom. Remember those days? Okay, so I totally get that. What about, because we're hearing that the price of cars, we only have a couple of minutes left, price of cars may be going up, all right, because of tariffs, things like this. Shopping, lease versus purchase? Do you help people out in these areas?
Absolutely. We have vehicle loans that start as little as 3.99, and we offer the same rate for new, used, refinanced, or lease buyout. So usually a lot of financial institutions or dealers will have different prices for each of those. We offer the same rate across the board. And a lot of people will call us, get pre-approved, go out shopping for a vehicle, or even if you bought the vehicle, and you can even refinance that with us. So say you go to the dealer and it's a Saturday and you weren't planning on buying, you were just window shopping, and then all of a sudden you drive off with the car at like maybe 7, 8, 9% of the dealer financing. As soon as you get that title in 30 days of that car, you can come right back to us and refinance at no fees at the lower interest rate.
Really?
Yeah, so it's a win-win for both.
Yeah, that's great to know. I would never realize. Especially, you would think that soon after getting it, it would be a detriment.
30 days. You can sit there and do it that way, just like with lease buyouts. A lot of people who have had leases, they have a lot of equity in their car, whether it be low miles or whatever it may be. A lot of people think that to do your lease buyout, that you have to turn it into the dealer or finance with the dealer to do it, and that's not the case. You can actually finance your lease to buy it outside of the dealer. In Western Division, we do those every single day, multiple times, and we can help you walk through the process.
Well, we really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Again, Denise Ligammare from Western Division Federal Credit Union. For more information and answers to your questions, contact Western Division Federal Credit Union by calling 716-500-LOAN, L-O-A-N, or go to westerndivision.org. Sponsorship and promotional consideration for the preceding segment was provided by Western Division Federal Credit Union. And join me weekday morning 7 to 9 a.m. on The Big Weck.